I'm Calvin. This is my project I did for Project Fair. It's on PQK, and PQK stands for My Grandpa Kim Quang Pham Lo Pham Quang Kim. He was the first lieutenant co-pilot during the Vietnam War in the VNAF, also known as the South Vietnamese Air Force. It was originated from the French, but nearly fully abandoned. This was all during the Vietnam War. My grandpa's quite famous for a few stories, but I'm going to tell you a little bit first about the Southern Vietnam Air Force. This is a picture of him training in Texas, in the U.S. The VNAF was formed in 1951 as part of the French Air Force in Indochina. The French made little effort to develop the VNAF into an individual air force. Vietnamese pilots were viewed as fillers in the French squadrons, and it wasn't until 1954 that the beginning of Vietnamese squadrons can be identified. By 1957, the U.S. had taken over the military assistance program. Money assigned for the development of the Vietnamese armed forces was carried through the French, and the French carried out the training of the Vietnamese. This is the emblem of the VNAF. At the time, the VNAF became the world's sixth largest air force at the very height of its power in 1974. It was falling apart in 1975 after the fall of Saigon, future Ho Chi Minh City. That was where my dad, aunt, and grandparents lived. Saigon was the capital of South Vietnam and was captured on April 30th, 1975. So I'm going to tell you the story of how they escaped. This is a picture of a C-130A that I'm going to talk about later. This is a picture of my grandpa with the U.S. Air Force plane, you can see. And this is a picture of the airplane later at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. That's me with the plane and the C-130A. And this is me and my grandpa. Down here is 1985, my dad, aunt, and grandparents at the Detroit Selfridge Air Force Base with the same plane that was used in the military. And these are some more pictures that go with this. Mission 1, Fly Resupply Mission to Da Nang, March 27, 1975. He landed close to midnight. People were frightened. Many got onto the airplane, and they counted over 350, and only 200 was supposed to be on the C-130A. Mission 2, to Pham Nhat to find his missing brother on April 2nd, 1975. They believed the South Vietnam would lose the war. My grandpa believed that, and he tried to find his missing brother. He was also in the South Vietnamese Air Force stationed at Pham Nhat, but they couldn't find him. Mission 3, get a plane and fly the family to freedom, April 3rd, 1975. So the obstacles was a plane. Wasn't scheduled to fly a mission, but a friend in another squadron had to borrow a plane from his squadron. The co-pilot was going on a date, so my grandpa offered to take his place. Obstacles, gas. They would only have a certain amount of gas to get somewhere and get gas to return. When you checked the tank, it was completely full. Now he knew he could go a lot further. Another obstacle is arranging to pick up the family. He needed time for his family to get to an abandoned U.S. Air Force base, which is also this. And he pulled some circuit breakers to stall the plane. Went over his checklist multiple times. He turned off radios and transponders so they couldn't be tracked. He flew slow so radar would think he was a helicopter. Mission 4, load the plane, April 3rd, 1975 also. 5 cars brought 52 family members, unloaded 20,000 pounds of rice. Family members rushed the plane. His 2-year-old daughter, my aunt, was trampled and knocked unconscious. His wife, my grandma, passed out and dropped a 4-month-old baby, my dad, on the tarmac. Unloaded and loaded in 7 minutes. Mission 5, The Escape, April 3rd, 1975. He gave crew members the option to leave the plane, and only one did. A jeep pulled up and pointed a grenade launcher at the cockpit, threatening to shoot. That one crew member told them. They flew to sea at treetop level, then dropped to the sea level. He flew so low, the fog filled the plane up and they couldn't see each other. Headed for Singapore and arrived at 1900 hours. And this is the Singapore base they arrived at. Mission 6, Singapore, April 3rd, 1975. Landed in a civilian airport, requested asylum, which is a refugee safety. The Prime Minister was out of the country for several weeks, and he was the only one that could grant asylum. Vietnam was contacted and were supposed to send planes, but never came. Needed to get gas to leave for the U.S. Got help from a friend who worked for a World Relief Organization to help get money for gas. Then they were on their way to the U.S. Settled in California, but soon moved to Ohio, where my grandpa, or in Vietnamese, Noi, still lives. I'd like to thank all the veterans that served in the military and for their sacrifices that they've made in Vietnam.